Could you use a quick tip daily? How about a tip that can impact your day? My name is Raphael. Join me as I bring you tips by experts around the world. These experts have shared their knowledge and wisdom with me and will directly share them with you. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and comment, and I would love for you to become part of the New Tip Daily community. Good morning.
Good morning, Raphael.
So much. I really appreciate you being here. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing really well. It's a Friday, and I'm about to go on a weekend trip to Atlantic City with my wife to celebrate 34 years of being married. So it's a good day.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You're going to Atlantic City, but you already hit the jackpot.
You know what? That's true. I like the way you said that. That's why I wrote this book, Checkmate. It's about my jackpot that I've already hit in life.
This incredible book. And with me, I'm very transparent. I have not had the chance to read this book, but it's scheduled. One of the things I do is I get so many books from all the authors, and I always schedule when I have to read. And I actually wanted to read yours, but life got crazy because I am.
That's right. When life's busy, that's a good thing, Raphael, right?
I'm trying to build an empire. So sometimes, it's, I got to get my chariots going.
Sacrifices have to be made for that.
That's great. But thank you so much for sending the book. And one of the things for me, it's always so important to find out what made you even decide to write the book. So if you don't mind sharing, and I know today's New Tip Daily and you want to share some tips with people. But
yeah, I do have lots of good tips for the audience today. But as far as the background in the book, it was actually kind of a lifelong goal of mine. And when I retired, it was on my bucket list to write a book. And I didn't really think I was serious about that, Raphael, because quite honestly, I'm a numbers guy. I'm an accountant, right? I'm a bean counter, as we're referred to, right? So I'm good with numbers, but usually not so much with words. So it was a struggle for me to put words on paper and have teams of editors go through it and rip it apart. But I'm very happy. After 15 months, we have this product in our hands, and so do about 500 people who have bought the book. And I've received like 60 reviews on Amazon that have come out to about an average of 4.8. So I'm really happy with the response to the book.
Right. And you're about to get another one probably by Saturday or Sunday. So, and I hope that everybody, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do, and I know you're about to give us some amazing tips, but if you can put your website in the private chat, because I want to share it with the audience. If anybody wants to pick up the book, definitely go to Amazon and type in Checkmate by Greg Davis.
You want me to type that in?
Yeah, perfect.
I can do that right now.
Yeah. And then if you have a website that we can go to, one of the things that I about this image right there is it shows winning. The image shows winning, and that is what Checkmate's about, right? And sometimes it's not always about knocking the other person down, even though in this picture it does, but it's about lifting them up to help you achieve success.
Yeah, I love that analogy, Raphael. I mean, I got a lot of positive and negative comments on the title Checkmate. It's not a book about chess, but there's chess analogies, and like you said, it's really about beating life. Checkmate is a game where you hopefully beat somebody in the game of chess, but checkmate can also refer to how you beat life. And that's what I really think I try to bring out in the book is faced a lot of struggles, which we talk about in the book. My wife had breast cancer. I went through a bunch of jobs my first 10 years, as most people do. And I couldn't find that job that really brought me happiness until I hit my job at Hershey. And so that's what the book's about is kind of, like you just said, winning life.
Yeah, that's the real secret to success, right? I believe
it's a secret to success, and I think it's also, in my opinion, it's a secret to happiness. Is doing something you truly love, and that's going to kind of pertain to my big tip today. But I'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah, and I am thrilled that you're here because you just said something. It's about winning in life, but it's also about feeling like a winner. Right? And sometimes we wake up, and anybody who ever says, "Oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed," I said, "Well, maybe you went to sleep on the wrong side of the bed. Go to sleep on the right side." And so it's always about the outlook that you have on your life. And every morning we have a chance to make it better. So
That's
I'm ready
very
for you to
true.
take my
You know, it's funny you say about wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm very happy if my feet hit the floor each morning. To me, that's a blessing in its own instead.
That is a blessing. Sure. So tell us, and you have like 5,000 tips, but just share a few with.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my main tip is actually my last tip in the book. I have 12 chapters, Raphael, and each one has a tip. I gave a bonus tip at the end of chapter 12, which is what I want to talk about with your audience today, because I think it's the most heart-rendering and what I've gotten the most feedback from readers of the book so far. And that lesson is to find something that you love to increase your happiness. And those 8 words sound so simple, right? But I think it's such an important thing to remember. Like if you're currently in a job that you're not happy with, and I was through this. My first 10 years, I bounced around to 4.5 jobs, just not happy in any one of them, quite honestly. But I did something about it, and I think that's what I want to share with your listeners. It's so easy for us to get into the rut of just getting up every day and going to a job we don't enjoy. But you have to do something about it, and maybe it's as simply as going out and trying to look in a new area and at least applying for a different job, because that's the thing they have to do. Or maybe it's a relationship with a friend you have that's kind of bringing you down. It's a very negative friend, always kind of have a negative outlook on life. And that's easy to do in today's world with all the negative news we see on the daily TV. But maybe you need to either change that relationship or end that relationship so you have positive influences in your life. I think for me, the biggest happiness for me is a great quote by Milton Hershey, and he's the guy who ran the town of Hershey and actually developed it. And it's part of what my book's about. But his quote is, "One is only happy in proportion as he makes others feel happy." And I feel that's such an important message, Raphael, that if you're in a job that you're miserable with, you're not going to be happy with others, right? And that's what I found when I went to Hershey. When I worked there for Hershey for 23 years, I love the people I worked with, but more importantly, I love the mission of our company, which was to help underprivileged children at the Milton Hershey School. And for your audience can look that up. It's an amazing story of how that school's been developed by Milton Hershey and still thrives today. And then I went from there into academia. And for me, it's really my way of giving back to the accounting profession. It made me very happy to interact with 20-some-year-old students who were trying to learn about accounting and then also learn life lessons from me, because I had quite a bit of experience by the time I hit the academic world in my mid-50s. So that's my key tip for today that I want to share with the audience.
What an incredible tip. Because if you do go to a job and you're not happy, you have the choice. Don't get me wrong, you may have to keep that job for a while.
Right. You got to have that income coming in for a while, right?
You may have to do that because you don't want to say, "Hey, you know what? I want to be happy. I'm quitting today." And then what? Right? So you don't want to do that.
You have a backup plan. That's part of my other message. Make sure you plan things ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of times people are doing, maybe they have a job because it was the direction of someone else. It was somebody
Right.
else's plan. Maybe it was your parents' plan.
Sure.
I I,
Happens a lot.
I had a client. Actually, I still have the client. He he went to law school. He actually passed the bar,
Wow.
and he quit the day he got his first job
Guess he wasn't happy.
because he said, "What am I doing here? I
Hmm.
am miserable."
I give
And
him amazing kudos for being able to recognize that so early, right?
well,
It's
it
hard to
was.
do.
Think about the years he spent doing it.
Yeah, all that devotion of
He
time.
studied for the bar. He passed the bar, and then he goes, "I did all this work, but do I want to spend the rest of my life in this field?"
Hmm.
And I know I have friends of mine who are lawyers and they love it. And I
Yeah.
have other ones who are like, "It's a job." Well, it's
We're
just
all
a job.
different, right? We're all wired differently. We got to find what makes us happy, and that's hard to do. But it's a great feeling when you finally get to that nirvana.
Oh, yeah. So this gentleman went into computers and he is beyond thrilled.
Wow,
Don't
that's
get me
great.
wrong, he still uses his knowledge of being a lawyer,
Sure.
because here's the funny thing, he always renews his license,
So he keeps it active. That's great.
but he's never practiced except for
That's
one.
amazing. That's a cool story. Great
Yeah,
story of somebody who
but
truly found their happiness.
they did, but you know what? They realized that there's something they can fall back
Yeah.
on. Things don't go right, but the guy's been doing it for 30 somewhat years, so I think he's still doing the right thing,
I think
right?
he's done the right, made a good move.
And he's successful at it. That's the other thing. A lot of people go into something and they're looking at the Joneses, but they don't really know what the Joneses have.
Yeah, and you know what in my experience of 60 some years, Raphael, is usually the Joneses aren't as happy as they may purport to be on the outside. There's a lot of underlying negativity that we don't see for the Joneses, unfortunately.
You know, it's a community near me. There's a lot of multi-million-dollar homes. And I actually had a few clients. Actually, I do have a bunch of clients in it. And I found a client and they actually invited me to their house
Hmm.
and they could not afford it.
Wow.
They
So they're
could,
over their head.
and they barely had any furniture.
Oh my gosh.
And I said to them, I said, what made you? I didn't say it in a negative way. I said, what? I said, I love your neighborhood. What made you come here? And they're
Yeah.
like, well, you know, da, da, da. And I said, okay. I said, are you happy? They're like, well, yeah. I said, well, no, you put a well in there.
Yeah, right.
Are
That's
you
usually
in the
the
well?
indicator.
That's the question. When you put a well, are you in the well?
Yeah, right. That's a
They
negative.
actually turned around and they said, yeah. So I said,
Hmm.
what if I helped you get out of the, and they financially they were strapped. I helped them get out of the well. And then eventually they moved to a neighborhood that's still a really nice neighborhood. Just the
Right.
houses were, maybe 800,000, not 5 million.
Gotcha. Big
And
difference.
now they're breathing. They're out of the well,
They're
right?
enjoying life, enjoying other
Enjoying
things.
their life. And that's one of the things that no matter what you do, I don't care if you're, and I've known a lot of people that you see them sweeping or cleaning or doing something, and it looks like it's manual labor, but they're whistling.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
That person is a happy person.
Yeah, right. They enjoy that.
You know, Greg, I got to tell you, one of the things that we take for granted here in this country is the little things.
Hmm.
If you go to a country where people are living in cardboard boxes and they're
Right.
living in huts and and all these different things and their belongings they have in a little duffel bag, and you offer them a little something, they are so grateful.
Yeah.
For
I have
us
a
here,
great story on that. Just a real quick story. My wife is working right across the street as we speak here in Philadelphia at a homeless shelter. And what she does is she runs the mail room there, Raphael, where 5,000 people come in every day to get their mail. Now, for us as normal, normal Americans, we don't think about this, but getting our mail we don't think a thing about it, right? These people come in to get their mail and then go over to the cafeteria and get a warm meal. They are so grateful. My wife it says it just brings you a whole new perspective on life, as you said. I think as Americans, we're very spoiled. We don't really realize, what we have here is so amazing compared to other countries. But spend a day at a shelter where homeless people are, you'll truly see the appreciation people have for the simple things in life, and they're very happy about that.
or even in certain countries. I mean, I have a friend of mine who went to Thailand and he opened up his humongous gym
Hmm.
and he wanted to hire a bunch of trainers. And he found out at the time, this is maybe 10 years ago or so, he found out that their pay was $1 a day.
Wow.
And he's like, what? He goes, I can't pay them $1 a day. They're like, he goes, I was thinking, give them a good salary.
Right.
And they're like, if you do that, not only will you cause chaos in the neighborhood, but everybody will come after you.
Huh. Isn't that
So
something?
he goes, what if I pay him $3 a day? Like, oh, you're gonna have some. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I'm gonna pay them the most I possibly can without causing heartache for other people.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So he figured out, and so he went to like 350 a day. But then he also, what he did is he used to buy food for them, so
Wow.
they wouldn't have to go spend money on food.
They could do something else with their
So
money.
he
That's
figured
nice.
a way because he felt heartbroken for these people. He goes, "Wow, I can't give them $1." So he goes, how can I add value to that
Yeah.
little bit of pay, 350 a day? That's nothing. He goes, how can I add value? So he figured out, I'll buy stuff
Some of
for
the
them,
food.
all their
Yeah.
clothing, all their equipment,
So their
all the
necessities were taken care of.
and so he took, and then so now he has some of the top trainers in his place.
Well, I
He,
bet. No wonder that draws the best of the best, right?
he, but what ended up happening? He has a MMA school, and it's a fighting school, and he has people come from all over the world to go to his school
Wow.
because he
Best trainers.
hired the best trainers.
Isn't that something? Honey draws the best, right?
Yeah. But your tip is truly incredible. If you're not happy with your current situation, praying and dreaming is great. Taking action
Is even
is what
better.
really does it.
Yeah. That's the key to life. Be happy. We only get one life, so might as well make the best of it, right?
Mhm. What's and you that's one tip. What would you say is a quick other tip that you can share?
Yeah. My quick other tip is it relates to money, right? Because that's always a sensitive topic for all of us. So my tip on money is try and save a few dollars. Maybe look at your credit card bill or your bank statement and see if you're doing monthly recurring payments for maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a TV service like Sling. Maybe it's an internet service that you have to enhance the speed of your computer. Are you really using those things? Because I've done this exercise every January for the past 10 years since my wife retired, as we were looking to save every nickel we could, right, in retirement. And every year I find something, Raphael. Like, for example, we were using Apple Plus for 6 months last year. I didn't realize until January this year that I was still paying that $20 a month and we weren't even using it. So go look through your statements. Just to go 1 or 2 months. It's not that intensive. Just go through. You'll find some repetitive payments that probably you aren't even using today and save some money there and use it elsewhere.
Yeah, and there's so many free things you can use. Can I share a tip with you?
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Yes. So I used to pay a lot of money for my business line.
Okay.
I need a phone. That's my lifeline to the outside world, right?
Sure.
And my brother-in-law said, "What's wrong with you?" And the guy's a brilliant genius. So I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Why are you still paying for your phone line?" I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" He goes, "You get a Google box, you do a Google number, and you pay nothing." But here's the cool thing. I've been, and I used, it saves me since I did it, thousands of dollars, probably at this point, probably about 30 grand. It saves
Wow.
me. And the reason is because not only do I have it ring at my location, I can connect a real phone to it.
Yeah.
The other thing is it can forward all the calls to my cell phone,
Oh,
and it has texting abilities. So
oh my
now my
God.
clients can text me, and it
That's a
doesn't
great
cost
tip.
me,
I never
doesn't
heard
cost
that before. That's a great tip for anybody.
Google phone.
Okay, there you go. There's a good tip of the day.
There you go.
I see that makes me happier. That hits both of our tips today.
It does, and I still have friends who have even though the cell industry almost took all the house phones out of people's homes. I
Right.
still have friends
Landlines.
who have phones at their house, and I'm like, "Does that phone ever ring?" They're like, "No." So why do you have it? And they're like, "Oh, convenience." I said, "Okay," but they pay every month, right?
I still have an 81-year-old sister who has a landline. The same question. Do you use it? Do you get calls? No, but it's just it feels better having it here.
It's comfort.
Comfort.
Greg, thank you so much. And but guess what? I would love, love to do a deep dive on your story, on your life, on how amazing of a person you are. And I'd love for you to come on my other shows, especially Coaching Call. I
Yeah, I'm
think,
looking forward to it. I'm already scheduled to do that.
yes, yes, I'm excited. I'll
I
have the
can't
book
wait.
read by then for sure.
I look
All right.
forward to it. Thank you so much for having me today, Ray. I hope your audience got some tips from both of us today. It was a double whammy today.
Double whammy. That's what we do here. Thank you, everybody. Listen, do me a favor. Go to davischeckmate.com. And I got to tell you, you got to pick up this book. Not only that, he's incredible. You see it for you.
There's some good articles out on that website as well for people who might be thinking about retirement. Some really good tips and some of the articles I have on that website.
Beautiful. All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Raphael. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you again, my friend, really soon.
As do I.
All right, everybody, have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you next week.